I never knew what sleep paralysis was until it started happening to me. At first, I thought I was just having trouble waking up. The first time it happened, I woke up on my back staring at the ceiling. My body felt heavy, like it had been pressed into the mattress. I tried to move my arms. Nothing happened. I tried to speak. My mouth wouldn't open. I wasn't scared yet. I assumed my body was just slow to wake up. Then I noticed the silence. It wasn't normal silence. It felt deliberate. There was no fan noise, no outside traffic. Even my own breathing sounded distant, like it wasn't coming from me. I tried to calm myself down. I told myself to wait it out. That's when I felt pressure on my chest. It wasn't painful, just firm, like someone resting their hand there, holding me down gently. I tried to turn my head. My neck wouldn't move. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed the room looked darker than usual. The shadows felt thicker. The pressure slowly increased. My breathing became shallow. That's when fear finally kicked in. I tried to scream. No sound came out, not even a whisper. I focused on my fingers, trying to wiggle them. They didn't respond. The pressure lifted suddenly. I gasped and sat up. The room was normal again. The fan was on. I told myself it was just a weird experience. Stress, maybe. A few nights later, it happened again. This time, I recognized it immediately. I woke up frozen. My body refused to obey me. The silence returned first, then the pressure. But this time, I felt something else, a presence. I couldn't see it clearly, but I knew I wasn't alone. The air felt occupied, like someone was standing too close. I tried to focus on breathing. My chest barely moved. The pressure shifted. It felt like weight settling beside me. I felt the mattress dip slightly. That shouldn't have been possible. I tried to convince myself it was just my imagination, my mind playing tricks. But the feeling was too specific, too intentional. I felt something lean closer to my face. The air grew colder. I couldn't see it, but I felt it watching me. I tried to shut my eyes. They wouldn't close. The presence stayed for several seconds, or minutes. Time didn't work normally in that state. Everything felt stretched. Then suddenly, it was gone. I could move again. I sat up shaking. My heart was racing. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. I kept the lights on. The next day, I searched what happened to me. That's when I learned the term sleep paralysis, a harmless condition according to the internet. That explanation didn't make me feel better, because it kept happening. Sometimes once a week, sometimes 2 nights in a row. Each time, it became more detailed, more personal. The presence started standing in the same spot every time, near the foot of my bed. I couldn't see its face, but I could sense where it was looking. It always focused on my chest, my breathing. One night, I felt fingers, light pressure on my arm. I wanted to cry. I couldn't even blink. The pressure lasted longer that time, longer than before. When I woke up, my arm felt sore. I checked for marks. There were none. That scared me more. I stopped sleeping on my back. It didn't matter. I stopped sleeping early. It still found me. Sometimes it didn't press on my chest. Sometimes it just watched. The worst nights were the quiet ones. Those nights felt like it was waiting, observing. One time I thought I heard breathing that wasn't mine, slow and steady. It came from beside my head, too close. I tried counting in my head. It didn't help. I tried praying. My thoughts felt blocked. The paralysis lasted longer each time, or at least it felt that way. I started waking up exhausted, like I hadn't slept. I began to dread bedtime. The dark stopped feeling neutral. Sometimes I would wake up partially frozen. Only my fingers could move. Those were the worst, because I could feel it reacting. the pressure would increase, like it noticed my awareness. I never saw its face clearly. And maybe that's a good thing, because the more it happens, the more I feel like it's learning me. It knows when I'm calm. It knows when I panic. It knows how long to stay, how long to wait. After a while, I stopped reacting when it happened. I learned that fear seemed to please it. The nights became predictable in the worst way. I would fall asleep, and at some point, I would wake up trapped. The silence always arrived first. It felt like the room itself was holding its breath. Then came the awareness. That instant knowledge that I was not alone. Some nights, the pressure returned. Other nights, it didn't touch me at all. Instead, I felt watched, closely. It stopped standing at the foot of the bed. It moved. Now it stayed beside me, near my shoulder. Now it stayed beside me, near my shoulder. I could feel where it was without seeing it. Like my body recognized its shape. The mattress would sink slightly, not enough to be obvious, but enough to be wrong. I tried sleeping with music on. The paralysis still came. The music would distort, slow down. Sometimes the song would cut off entirely, leaving only silence again. I tried sleeping with the lights on. I still couldn't see it. The light felt useless, like it didn't reach where it stood. One night, I felt breath on my cheek, warm and slow. It was the first time I truly panicked. My chest tightened instantly. The pressure returned, heavier than before. It felt deliberate, like it was reminding me of something, like it was teaching me. I tried to scream again. My throat burned. My jaw felt locked. My tongue felt numb. I felt fingers press against my wrist, counting my pulse. That's when I realized something worse. It knew I was alive. The paralysis broke suddenly. I sat up gasping. My wrist ached. I checked it under the... There were no marks, but the soreness stayed. The next few nights, nothing happened. That scared me more than the visits. I started waking up naturally at the same time every night, without an alarm. Always a few minutes before it usually came, like my body was preparing. One night, I woke up frozen again. But this time the room looked different. The shadows were deeper, the corners darker. The presence felt closer than ever, almost overlapping me. I felt something brush against my ear, like a whisper without sound. A thought appeared in my head that wasn't mine. Clear and calm. You wake up too easily. My heart pounded violently. I tried to fight harder. The pressure increased instantly, like punishment. My breathing became shallow, controlled. I realized then that struggling made it stronger. Calmness made it patient. After that night, it stopped freezing me completely. It let me move slightly, just enough to know it was still there, just enough to make it worse. Sometimes I could move my fingers. Sometimes I could turn my head. But whenever I tried to sit up, the pressure returned, immediate. Like a boundary I wasn't allowed to cross. Yet, I began noticing things during the day. Small gaps in memory, waking up tired even after long sleep, feeling watched while fully awake. Sometimes when I lay down, I felt the pressure before I even slept, like it was early, waiting. One night, I opened my eyes during paralysis and saw movement, not a shape. The shadow bent, shifted. It wasn't standing anymore. It was leaning close enough that I felt warmth, close enough that I didn't want to see its face. It didn't touch me that night. It stayed still, watching me breathe, learning my rhythm. When I woke up, my chest felt sore, like I'd been breathing wrong all night. Since then, the paralysis doesn't feel like an accident. It feels scheduled, like it's no longer visiting. It's checking on me, and lately it doesn't leave right away when I wake up. Sometimes I feel it linger, even after I can move, even after the noise comes back, even after I sit up. And that's when I start wondering if the paralysis is ending, or if something else is beginning. I didn't get sleep paralysis out of nowhere. It started during a time when I was exhausted in a way sleep couldn't fix. I was working long shifts back then, sometimes 12 hours a day. By the time I got home, my body felt heavy, but my mind refused to slow down. I would eat late, shower fast, and collapse into bed without really resting. My sleep schedule became irregular without me noticing. Some nights I slept 3 hours, other nights I slept 10. Either way, I always woke up tired. At first, the symptoms were small. I would wake up suddenly, heart racing, unsure why. Sometimes my limbs felt numb for a few seconds. I brushed it off as stress. I started relying on caffeine to get through the day, coffee in the morning, energy drinks at night. My body stayed awake longer than it should have. My mind stayed alert even when I slept. The first real episode happened after a double shift. I came home past midnight, physically drained. I remember lying down and falling asleep almost instantly. There was no dream buildup, no transition. I woke up staring at the ceiling. I knew I was awake, but my body didn't respond. At first, I wasn't scared. I assumed my body was just slow to wake up. I tried moving my fingers. Nothing happened. I tried turning my head. It felt glued to the pillow. That's when I noticed the silence. The room felt empty of sound. No fan noise. No outside traffic. Even my breathing felt distant, like it wasn't fully mine. I tried to stay calm. I remembered hearing somewhere that panic makes things worse. That's when the pressure started. A weight pressed down on my chest. It wasn't crushing, it was controlled. I realized I couldn't take a deep breath. My lungs only filled halfway. Fear crept in slowly, not panic, but awareness. Something felt wrong beyond paralysis. Something felt present. I couldn't see anything yet, but the room didn't feel empty anymore. I focused on blinking. My eyelids barely moved. Out of the corner of my eye, the darkness looked thicker. The shadows didn't behave normally. I felt the mattress dip slightly, like weight settling beside me. That was when fear fully took over. My heart tried to race, but my body stayed frozen. I wanted to scream. My mouth wouldn't open. The pressure on my chest increased slightly, enough to remind me I wasn't in control. I stayed like that for what felt like forever. Time stretched unnaturally. Then suddenly, I could move. I gasped for air and sat upright. The room looked normal again, nothing out of place. I told myself it was sleep paralysis. Stress and exhaustion explained it. That explanation helped during the day. At night, it felt useless. I tried sleeping earlier after that. It didn't stop. The episodes became more frequent, sometimes twice a week. They always happened when I was most tired, when my body shut down before my mind. I noticed patterns. It happened more when I slept on my back. It happened more when I went to bed stressed. It happened more when I skipped meals. One night, after another long shift, it happened again. This time, it felt different. I woke up frozen, already knowing what was happening. The silence returned immediately. The pressure was already there, like it had been waiting. I felt something near my legs, not touching, just present. I didn't open my eyes fully. I was afraid of what I'd see. The air felt colder near the foot of the bed, uneven. I tried to control my breathing. My chest barely obeyed. The presence moved. Slowly, I felt it closer to my torso. The mattress sank more. I realized something terrifying. It wasn't random anymore. The episodes felt consistent, rehearsed. My body remembered the feeling. My fear came faster each time. The pressure didn't hurt. It restrained. Some nights it didn't touch me at all. It only stayed, watching, waiting. I started waking up before it happened. My body learned the timing. I would lie there in the dark, afraid to fall asleep again, afraid of giving it access. Even when nothing happened, I felt tense, like my body was bracing for impact. I began seeing signs during the day. Heavy eyelids, sudden chills, memory gaps. Sometimes I felt pressure on my chest while fully awake. It vanished quickly. I stopped napping entirely. I was afraid short sleep made it worse. The exhaustion built up. The episodes grew stronger. One night, I woke up paralyzed again, but this time I felt fingers. Light, deliberate pressure on my arm. That was when I realized something had changed. It wasn't just my brain misfiring anymore. The paralysis lasted longer that night, much longer. I tried grounding myself, counting, breathing, focusing. Nothing worked. It stayed. When I finally broke free, my arm felt sore. The sensation lingered. From that night on, the episodes didn't feel accidental. They felt intentional. My fatigue didn't just trigger paralysis. It opened something. And every night I go to bed now, tired or not, I feel like sleep itself has become a doorway. That night, I went to bed earlier than usual. My body was exhausted, my mind barely functioning. I fell asleep almost instantly. It was too fast, too easy. I woke up paralyzed again, like clockwork. My chest felt heavier than ever before. The room was darker than normal. Shadows seemed to pool unnaturally in every corner. I couldn't move my arms or legs. I couldn't scream. Then I noticed something new. A faint outline of a figure at the edge of the bed. It didn't move at first. It just watched me breathe. The pressure on my chest intensified. My lungs barely worked. I tried to force my eyes open fully. They felt glued shut. The figure leaned closer. I could feel its presence pressing against me. It smelled faintly like iron and old paper, a smell that wasn't in my room before. I tried counting to calm myself. My mind raced too fast. A whisper reached my ears, not through sound, but through thought. "You're awake, but you're mine now." I froze harder than ever. The words weren't audible, but I understood perfectly. It shifted slightly. Now I felt weight on my shoulder, though I still couldn't move. My heart thumped in terror. My body refused to respond. The figure's shape became slightly more defined. Tall, faceless, dark. I felt a cold hand press against my throat. I couldn't breathe fully. I tried to close my eyes. My mind screamed, but the paralysis held. The whisper came again. "You sleep too little. Soon you'll sleep forever." The room began to feel smaller. The darkness pushed inward. I realized something horrifying. This wasn't a random hallucination or fatigue. It had learned me, learned my body, my limits, my fears. The pressure increased until I could barely inhale. I felt something crawl beneath my sheets, not visible, but moving. I wanted to scream one last time. My voice failed. The last thing I remember was its presence hovering over me, watching, waiting. When I woke up hours later, my body was stiff, my eyes bloodshot. The sheets were cold, unnaturally so, not warm from my body heat. I noticed a shadow in the corner of my room, lingering, unmoving, watching. I told myself it was my imagination, but my chest still ached. That night, I didn't fall asleep, not fully, not safely. Even now, the thought of lying down fills me with dread. The exhaustion hasn't stopped. The episodes haven't stopped. And I know, deep down, it isn't finished with me. It waits, always, just beyond the edge of sleep. I never thought much about staying up late, until the night it happened. I was exhausted from pulling double shifts at the cafe and staying up to study. By the time I crawled into bed, my body felt like lead. I thought I'd sleep immediately. I woke up feeling heavy, though my eyes were wide open. I couldn't move a single muscle. Panic didn't come at first, only confusion. I tried blinking rapidly, hoping it would break whatever was happening. My eyelids felt glued together. I tried to call out. My mouth refused to form any words. A cold pressure pressed against my chest. Not painful, but undeniable. I felt like someone was sitting on me, watching, waiting. I dared to turn my head slightly. The corner of my room seemed darker than it should be. Shadows stretched unnaturally. They didn't match the objects in the room. I realized then I wasn't alone. Something unseen lingered beside me. I tried to breathe slowly. My lungs barely worked. The weight increased slightly. My heartbeat thundered in my ears. I wanted to scream for my roommate. My throat betrayed me. The air felt heavier near my face. I felt it leaning closer. I could sense a presence near my shoulder. It didn't touch me yet. I tried counting numbers in my head. Nothing helped. Every muscle in my body screamed to move. I couldn't. I focused on my eyes, willing them to see. The darkness bent slightly, like it was alive. I finally willed myself to sit upright. My body obeyed, gasping for air. The room looked normal again. My sheets were cold, my pillows undisturbed. I told myself it was just sleep paralysis. Fatigue and stress made sense. But the memory of the pressure stayed. Heavy. Real. The next night I avoided my phone before bed. Tried to sleep earlier. It happened again though. I woke up frozen in the same way. This time I sensed movement near my legs. A weight shifting under the sheets. I couldn't see it. I could only feel it. I tried to tell myself it was my imagination. It didn't help. I realized that the longer I stayed awake during the day, the worse it got. The episodes became predictable, almost scheduled by my exhaustion. Sometimes I felt it linger even after I could move again, watching me from the corner. One night I felt a whisper in my mind. You shouldn't have stayed up so late. My heart raced. My body refused to follow commands. I tried changing sleep positions. Back, side, stomach. Nothing mattered. I began sleeping with the lights on. It didn't stop the feeling. Even sitting up, I sometimes sensed it, hovering near me, waiting for me to relax. I started to dread bedtime, dreading sleep itself. Even during the day, I sometimes felt the weight of it, a subtle pressure on my chest. I knew it wouldn't leave me alone, not until I truly rested. I tried meditating before bed, breathing exercises. Nothing seemed to work fully. Every night, I waited for the paralysis, waiting for the weight, and every night it came, teaching me something I couldn't understand. Even now, I hesitate before lying down, afraid of the moment when my body obeys my mind, but my mind is trapped. I started noticing patterns. It always happened after I worked long hours or skipped meals. Even when I tried to rest during the day, I felt the weight returning at night. Some nights it came earlier than usual, like it knew I was too tired. I could feel it brush lightly against my arms or legs, even though I couldn't see it. I tried sleeping on the couch instead of my bed. It didn't help. The pressure felt stronger there, almost like it preferred the new spot. I noticed my own breathing became shallow before it even arrived. The paralysis seemed to know my rhythm, waiting for my body to relax. One night, I woke up paralyzed and noticed my ceiling fan casting strange shadows. The shadows moved against the ceiling as if something in the room was leaning closer. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. It pressed against me lightly, but deliberately. Watching my chest rise and fall, I tried to focus on reality, remind myself it was just my mind playing tricks. But the pressure increased, heavy, deliberate, not imagined. I felt fingers brush the edge of my blankets, not touching, but close enough. I realized then that it wasn't random. It was intentional. It learned me. My fears, my habits, even my exhaustion patterns. Some nights I would wake just before it arrived. Other nights it lingered longer than usual, pressing down like it wanted something. I began to dread even lying down, afraid of giving it access. I sometimes felt it in the corners of my room, just out of sight. I tried sleeping with music, the TV, anything to distract myself. Nothing mattered. The moment I drifted too close to sleep, it came. It hovered silently, waiting for me to realize I was trapped. I started keeping my phone near me. I thought maybe if I called someone it would leave. It didn't. It never left. I could hear my own thoughts racing, my heart pounding in my ears. Even as I struggled to move, I could sense it, watching, studying, waiting. Some nights, it didn't press on my chest at all. Just lingered. Even then, the fear didn't fade. The moments it stayed quiet were worse than the ones it attacked, because I knew it was learning me, memorizing how I moved, how I panicked, how I breathed. I began keeping notes during the day, times, lengths, sensations. I tried to predict it, but the more I tried, the stronger it seemed. Last night it felt different, heavier, more deliberate. It pressed against my chest and whispered words I couldn't understand. Not out loud, but in my head. My body finally broke free, shaking violently, but the memory of its presence lingered, clinging to my chest. I know it's not over. It waits, always, in the dark corners of my room. Even now, lying in bed, I can feel it watching, waiting for the moment I finally give in. And I know deep down one night it will stay longer than usual. That night is coming.